Hello. Probably not really a flattering angle this, but in one of my last videos, I think it was the Hempstead Hall one, I said we was going to come back to a certain area and do a little sit spot or a zoning, and I said I'd do a video and explain to you what that is. So here's the video. Okay, so welcome to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe and like this video. That'd help me right out. It's just a little channel I'm doing for fun, really. A few people said, why don't you do one? So here it is. So I'm going to do, I see a lot of photographers on YouTube crashing around in the undergrowth, making loads of noise, trying to get photographs of the wee beasties that they want to see. So I thought I'd do a Fieldcraft for Photographers series. Now, I used to teach tracking, bushcraft, natural history skills and survival, etc. for about 20 years. For my sins, I've sort of retired from it because I felt and found that I was doing everything for everyone else all the time and not myself, and I become a bit detached from what I was doing, and I stopped enjoying it for a few reasons I won't go into. But I come from a naturalist's background. My passion is the flora and fauna of our fantastic planet we live on. You know, the planet Earth, the one we're destroying. I won't go into that now either. But I used to love it. Sitting down as a kid, I always had a hand lens with me, lifting up rocks, finding things, bits and bobs. Had a wildlife pond in my back garden my dad dug for me. And I used to go out collecting all sorts of stuff. Used to breed newts, collect frog spawn and toad spawn, watch them grow and feed them, feed the tadpoles. I had all sorts of pets. I had racing pigeons, tarantulas. I've still got tarantulas. I had tarantulas for nearly 40 years. I know I don't look that old. Nearly 40 years. I'm 50 next month. Mind you, I made it. That's a surprise. Yeah, so that's my background. I'm a naturalist. I love wildlife. So I thought I'd share some skills with you to how to get close to it. And the first one in this series is about a sit spot or a zoning. So let me share a little scenario with you. The night before, you pack all your camera kit, excited about the next day. Get it all in this bag, you get your stuff together, put what in the car you can put in the car. Leave your bag and your clothes by the back door or the front door. Beep, beep, beep. In the morning, You open your eyes, it's early, dark, and you want to get where you're going before sun up, so you're in a good spot for the diurnal creatures to come into play, or anything that was about last night. The nocturnal stuff still creeping around, maybe a badger out, coming back, or whatever. So you get up in the morning, you sling a cup of coffee down your face, stuff a piece of toast in your mouth, you rush around, get in your car, you're panicking. What have I forgot? Have I forgot anything? Have I forgot anything? Have I got my waterproofs? Have I got my spare batteries? Have I got my memory cards? You get in the car, you race down the road. Adrenaline pumping. You get to your venue, you park your car up. There's someone else already there. Damn it. You get out of the car, you get all your stuff, get your rucksack on, pick your tripod up. If you got on your favourite hat, damn it, that's upset you. You get over to where you want to film, whatever. Kingfishers, because I'm sitting right by a river, and I saw a kingfisher here yesterday. That's why I'm sitting here. You get to where you're going. You sit down. You're all restless. Oh, there's a kingfisher about. I want to see the kingfisher. And you see nothing. You sit there, picking your nose, scratching your bum, rustling a crisp packet, huffing and puffing. Have a cup of coffee. See more of nothing. Think, sod this, I'll get back, I'm going home. You get back in your car and you go home. Sound familiar? I don't do that. Best thing to do is get yourself a checklist. Everything you need, write on a checklist. If you've got to write that checklist 5,000 times, you write that checklist 5,000 times. And you tick it off. You've not forgot anything. Put the stuff in the boat, what you can put in the boat. Rest of it you have in your rucksack by the front door. Pick it up and you've got everything. Then you get to where you're going. Don't worry about the journey. Just get there safely. Get out of the car, get your stuff. Walk through the woods, into the forest, or wherever you're going, canal side, beach, shoreline. And what's the first thing you do? I'll tell you, nothing. You don't get your camera out. You do absolutely nothing. What you do is, you sit down. Because your brain and your adrenaline, your brain's still going 100 miles an hour down the motorway, your adrenaline's still kicked in. So you sit down and you do a zoning or a sit spot. Now, what's that mean? Well, wherever you go, it doesn't matter whether it's the middle of a town centre and you're photographing birds in Norwich in the cathedral spire like my last video, or you're in a forest, woodland, shoreline, whatever. You sit down and you start to slow down. Because if you're 100 miles an hour, you'll notice nothing. And what we do is we establish a baseline for that area. Now what I mean by that is what's normal in that area. So you come along, you lean against a tree, you make yourself comfortable, you have a bit of a scratch, there'll be flies flying around. Make yourself comfortable. Shut your eyes. Breathe. Listen to your breathing. Slow your breathing down and relax. And this is like a meditation. You might fall asleep then. There's a little New Forest pony walking in front of me. Beautiful. You might fall asleep. But you slow down and you start listening to what's around you with your eyes shut, because you've got rid of one of the senses So the other sense, your hearing, and your sense of smell, and your sense of touch come into play. Not so much your sense of taste, because you don't go around licking the trees and the ground and the flowers, but you'll feel, with your eyes shut, the wind on your arm coming from a certain direction. At the moment, it's coming across me, because I can feel the hairs on my arm blowing in that direction. It's only a slight breeze. I can hear a stream trickling in front of me. I can hear the insects buzzing round my head. I can hear a bird alarm call behind me. I can hear the wind blowing through the leaves. I can hear a horse. I can hear the leaves dropping around me. The breeze blowing through the leaves. The grass is just gently rustling. Then I open my eyes. What can I see? I can see those insects buzzing around, and they're getting closer to me. Why are they getting closer to me? They're getting closer to me because when I move around as a human, any animals, any wildlife throws out what we call concentric circles. So they throw out waves, like a pebble dropping in a lake, the ripples, that ripple effect. And we do that when we stomp around. As we move through undergrowth, all the insects disappear. Well, there's something coming. The insects disappear. The birds hear us. The birds start alarm calling. The insects are going anyway, so there's no food for them, so they disappear. The birds disappear. They alarm call. A squirrel will hear the alarm call. The squirrel will start alarm calling. Then a magpie will hear it, and that'll alarm call. And you throw these ripples out through the woodland, scaring everything away. Everything will be on high alert, because it knows you're there. And you'll hear all this, and you won't take no notice of it. But when you open your eyes, and you're doing your sit spot, you'll see the insects, and they'll be getting used to you. You may have a little robin come and land on a little branch near you. Or a bee land on your knee. I've had tawny owls land in trees above me. Deer walk past me, within feet. Badgers run towards me. Foxes, mice come out of little holes in trees. Lots of different experiences. Because I'm becoming a part of nature, which we've detached ourselves as a species. We're not a part of nature anymore. We're humans. We're better than them. Anyway, I digress. So, we sit still, we open our eyes and we see all this insect life. We see trees moving in the breeze. And all the time we're establishing our baseline. And our baseline is the normal situation of the area we're in. What's normal? It might be a road, you might hear the road noise. That's normal. You hear a plane fly over. It might be an airport nearby. That'll become normal. You'll hear all the birds twittering in the trees. That'll become normal. You'll look at all the different colours of the trees and the grasses and notice how many different colour greens there are. Oranges this time of year in the bracken. Oranges in the acorns that are falling around. The shapes of the trees, the shapes of the grasses. And you become normalised to that area. You become part of it. Your heart rate's dropped, your adrenaline's dropped. You're tuning into your environment around you. All trackers that do this are worth their salt. Even military trackers. They'll rush to an area. They've got their quarry they're chasing. Whatever it is. Poachers. The baddies. Rush to it in a helicopter. Abseil out. Land. Got all their kit. Guns. Woo. They'll find their point of contact. There's a camp. There's a campfire. And they'll sit down. And they'll do a sit spot or a zone in. The point that's running off, you'll miss stuff. And you draw in your concentric circles till you become a part of the environment you're in. Now why do we do this? What's the point? I was just tramp off and hide and just get on with it. And once you've done this, you'll start noticing birds alarm calling. There's a raven over the back there. Just heard a blackbird alarm call over there a little while ago. Yeah, birds will alarm call because there's something there. They don't just shout and holler and squawk because there's nothing there. Especially corvids like jays, jackdaws, crows, magpies. They're what we call sentinel birds. So they'll sit up high and they'll keep an eye out, and they're wily old characters and they'll call. Or you might hear of a wood pigeon flapping out. And they don't take off and in a hurry for nothing. So you'll start noticing where the action is. Generally, if you hear a jay calling and squawking and making a racket, or a magpie sounding like a rattling box of matches, alarm calling, you bet your boots if you're sitting down nice and quiet and you hear an alarm call over there, a predator will come out. Stoat, weasel, fox, human, cat, dog. So everything above that baseline then becomes unusual, uncharacteristic of that area, outside of the baseline. And that is where you get alerted to something interesting that's going on. Also, it's really relaxing. It's good for your mind, your body, your spirit. Now you can do this for 5 minutes, you can do it for 10 minutes, you can do it for an hour. You might fall asleep. There's too much rushing around in this world. Too much bad, too much hate. Too much of this virus. Crap that people don't know what the hell they're talking about flying around. Now I've elbowed Facebook, for those that have noticed, because I don't think it's good for your mental health. Don't worry about everyone else and their narcissistic behaviour and their one-upmanship. Just get on with your life. When you start getting on with your life, it becomes a much more peaceful world. So that's my first little introduction into Fieldcraft for photographers. Sit spot or a zoning. And it is, you can read into it as much as you want. And you can go into it deeper than that. I can't do a 15-minute video talking about the ins and outs and taking you through a guided meditation or a guided sit spot and this, that and the other. But that's the basics. Draw in your concentric circles, calm down, reduce the amount of energy you're throwing out, and things will come closer to you. Guarantee you that. Anyway, now I'm suitably relaxed and listening to the wildlife and the birds, I'll leave you. Now, I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to go into other stuff as well. Perhaps clothing, camouflage. Do you need it? How we behave as humans. How to track wildlife, how to trail wildlife, how to observe them, how we find them, how do we know they're there? And ultimately to get that snap, to get that shot. Now, I might not be the best photographer in the world, but I'm pretty good at getting close to stuff, finding things are there, seeing the sign and the spoor, same thing. And hopefully I can get you closer. So keep an eye for the rest of this series. I'll bung one in every now and then when I can be bothered to do one. But as I said in the last video, I'm not going to stick to a schedule. I'm not going to keep every week trying to do something just to get a video out. I'm doing this for me and my family, especially my mum and dad, because they like seeing what I'm up to. And while me and Sammy travel around in Gladys, we'll take you with us, show you what wildlife is about and what campsites we go to and just stuff we like doing. We've got a few really good things coming up, very exciting. I'll tell you about soon. Until that time, you stay safe, you take care, you look after yourselves, stay sane, and be happy. See you later.